Many people believe that Christmas has become too commercialized and has lost the real spirit of the holiday season. However, what if I told you that the beginning of that change towards commercialization and away from the real spirit of Christmas didn't start in recent times, but actually goes back to a Christmas classic? What if this change in the celebration of Christmas actually began with the story that gave us our idea of what modern Christmas and the Christmas spirit is really all about? I'm talking, of course, about A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This is a perennial favorite of many people. I really enjoy the story myself. Seeing Ebenezer Scrooge change from a greedy old miser
Christmas comes but once a year, sir. Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December.
to a kind and generous person is very satisfying. It really resonates with something in most people to see someone who's so bad change to someone much better. However, A Christmas Carol also gives us our picture of what Christmas should be like. Before that, Christmas was celebrated many different ways in many different cultures. But after A Christmas Carol and its effect, especially on the English-speaking world, we tend to picture Christmas the way Charles Dickens portrayed it in that story. There have been many different stage and film adaptations of the story, and so it has had a very large impact on a great many people, especially in America. Most people's cultural idea of what Christmas should be like is based on Dickens' A Christmas Carol. One of the things we have to think about, though, is whether the Christmas portrayed in Dickens' A Christmas Carol is actually the kind of Christmas we want to be celebrating. On the face of it, the story seems very positive. Ebenezer Scrooge is a miser. He doesn't spend lavishly on anything, whether himself or others. Not only is he not generous and doesn't give to those in need, but he also doesn't spend lavishly on himself. He just hoards his money and does nothing with it. This is contrasted with other characters, such as the Cratchits, or Scrooge's nephew and his wife, who are generous and kind even though they have far fewer resources than Scrooge does himself. Scrooge is visited by the ghost of his old business partner, Jacob Marley, who warns him about the need to change his ways and tells him that 3 spirits, or ghosts, of Christmas are going to appear to him before Christmas morning. Scrooge is not very happy about this, but once Marley's gone, the 3 ghosts that he predicted do show up. We have the ghost of Christmas past, who shows Scrooge happenings from past Christmases that he'd been a part of, and shows him how, while he had once enjoyed Christmas, he slowly grew into the miserable miser that he currently is. Then the ghost of Christmas present shows up, and shows Scrooge the kind of holiday excitement and exuberance that some of his acquaintances and other people are enjoying. The point here is to show Scrooge the kind of joy and excitement in the holiday season that he is missing out on, and that he could be part of if he simply chose to embrace the spirit of Christmas and celebrate it like those around him were doing. Finally comes the ghost of Christmas future, who shows Scrooge some of the terrible things that will befall in Christmas's future if he doesn't change his ways. These include things like Bob Cratchit's son, Tiny Tim, dying, and even Scrooge himself dying, and everyone being pretty happy about it, because he hasn't done anything to merit people's sadness. By the end of these 3 ghosts' visits, Scrooge is a changed man. He wakes up promising to turn his life around, to be generous, to use the wealth at his disposal to be kind and bless others, and really celebrate Christmas the way it was meant to be celebrated.
Merry Christmas to everybody, and a Happy New Year to the world!
That, in its basic outline, is the story of A Christmas Carol. So what's the problem here? How is this the story that started the commercialization of Christmas? On the face of it, it seems to be promoting the exact opposite, showing that Christmas is a time for giving gifts to people, and showing generosity and kindness, and really getting into the holiday spirit. I will point out, however, that getting into the holiday spirit, while it does involve laughing and playing games and singing Christmas carols and things, mainly in the story is about taking the money you have and giving gifts to others. Now, this is great. Giving gifts to others is a great way to celebrate Christmas. However, the whole point of Scrooge's redemption is that he has all this money, and the way to celebrate with it is to go out and spend it all. This is where the commercialization of Christmas gets started. The idea that, whether rich or poor, Christmas is about spending loads of money on things to give to people. Again, gift giving is a great way to show love and express appreciation around this holiday season. It's not a bad thing. But it can be taken too far if Christmas becomes all about the gifts and the giving and receiving of them. Scrooge's life change is not just about being a kinder person, but mainly about realizing that he shouldn't be hoarding his wealth, but rather spending it. And spending wealth is really what those promoting a more commercialized Christmas want you to do. Now, please get what I'm not saying here. I'm not saying that you should be like Scrooge and simply hoard your money and not be generous to people. Be generous. Show kindness. What I am pointing out, however, is that the story of A Christmas Carol is a story of a man who goes from keeping all his wealth to himself to a man who spends it all lavishly on gifts for others. It's not the generosity that is the problem, but the idea that Christmas should be all about spending money. That is where A Christmas Carol, as good of a story as it is, takes the idea of how to celebrate Christmas and pushes it down the path to where we are today, where Christmas is mainly about buying things and giving things. It's not the giving of things that is the issue. It's the focus on buying, buying, buying so that you can give.
There's a lot of buying, isn't there?
Oh, Ebenezer, is that all you can see?
That is how A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, that cultural touchstone that so many have seen or read or heard, began us down the path to where we are now with our current commercialized Christmas. I'm AJ, and I hope you've enjoyed this exploration of A Christmas Carol and how it's affected our modern idea of Christmas. Let me know down in the comments below if you think I got this right, or if our current commercialized Christmas began somewhere else. Can it really be traced back to Charles Dickens, or is he blameless in this matter? If you would like to see more videos discussing stories, films, TV shows, and books, please like and subscribe. Now, go out there and have a very Merry Christmas.